Eagles receiver A.J. Brown on the return of Jalen Hurts to practice. He's missed 2 games with a shoulder injury suffered against the Chicago Bears. And, Peter, the Giants are locked in as the number 6 seed. The Eagles need a win to finally nail down the division title and the number 1 seed. And I thought about something you said last week as it relates to the 2007 regular season finale, and John Madden called Tom Coughlin because the Giants played tough, even though it didn't affect their playoff status at all. It was 38-35. They tried to keep the Patriots from finishing a 16-0 perfect season. And then I saw the line for this game is Eagles minus 14. I don't think I think that tells me that you're not going to see a lot of Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley and the best of the best Giants in this game. It looks like the Giants aren't going to do everything they can to keep the Eagles from being the 1 seed.
Yeah, Mike, you originally my thought was it's going to be hard for Brian Daboll to not play all his guys for the full game because it's almost now Giant tradition. But I do think that one of the things that is different from 2007 to 2022 is that was trying to prevent the New England Patriots from having a perfect season. And this year is simply trying to get your guys as healthy as humanly possible for a playoff run that nobody's expecting anything out of the Giants. But I keep saying this, Mike. There's something about this New York Giants team. And look, they could go to San Francisco or Minnesota and lose by 21. But, man, their defense is pretty darn good. Daniel Jones, the run-pass threat, the fact that he's not turning it over. I talked to him last Sunday, and, he is the most vanilla quote in the NFL. But it is very, very clear that he understands that Brian Daboll has been not good, but great for him. Frank Kafka has been not good, but not great but great for him. And he understands that securing the ball is hugely important. So I only say all that to say, I think the Giants believe that on Wild Card Weekend, they're going to have a chance. And they want to make sure they have their best chance.
Oh, and as it stands, they'll go back to Minnesota, where that last game was a classic down-to-the-wire 61-yard field goal to win it at the buzzer for the Vikings, so we could get a rematch of that one just a few weeks after it was played. Rams at Seahawks, rematch of a game played earlier this year. The Rams 5-11, the most losses for any defending Super Bowl champion ever. The Seahawks are favored by 6. They're still alive. We've got this pause in the timing where the Seahawks have to win and then wait and hope the Lions win. And, of course, the Lions would know that they aren't playing for a playoff spot if the Seahawks have won, but the Seahawks need the Lions to win regardless. I'm concerned that the Rams are going to win this game, and I actually picked the Rams yesterday to win this game because I look at Bobby Wagner going back to Seattle and the energy he's going to bring to the Rams. It will overcome the dysfunction that has pervaded. Baker Mayfield, his closing argument to the NFL at large for a contract next year. And also, Peter, and it's already starting, there was a report from Michael McCarthy of frontofficesports.com yesterday that the networks are going to be sniffing around Sean McVay again. If I had to bet, I would say he regrets not taking the Bezos money when he had the chance and getting off of a sinking ship. And so this could be his last game. If you know you're definitely coming back next year, this game has a different vibe than if you think there's a chance that the dominoes are going to fall in a way where you walk away. So you would very much like to walk out the door with a win.
But, Mike, let's talk about that for a second. Here's why I don't think Sean McVay is going anywhere. Does Jeff Bezos, does he get into the business of televising games, of streaming games, so that he has to pay off Kirk Herbstreit and he has to then pay Sean McVay $18 million a year? Now, I have no idea what Kirk Herbstreit was making. I just don't know. But whatever he was making, it's clear that he wasn't working on a one-year contract. So he has to pay Kirk Herbstreit off after Kirk Herbstreit was extremely popular inside Amazon. The people who worked there loved him. The people who did the games loved him. So and you're not going to have a 3-man booth. Al Michaels would never want to have a 3-man booth. And so I question. And so without that, you tell me, would Sean McVay go to a studio? They don't pay studio guys
no way
$18 million a year. Now, could
Drew
they
Brees
do
found
something
out, Drew
like
Brees found out what it's like in a studio. It's not like being at a game.
Yeah, and not only that, Mike, but NBC has done this a few times. They've offered like Jason Witten, Drew Brees, and others, and now Jason Garrett. I think probably not the same way, but they've said to Jason Witten, to Drew Brees, come and do the studio, and come maybe and do Notre Dame. Come and do a bunch of things, and then we'll see what happens in a booth. We'll see down the road what happens. You don't know what's going to happen. But to me, you tell me right now, is ESPN giving Sean McVay a job in a booth for a lot, or in a studio for a lot of money? Is Fox going to do that? Is CBS, is NBC going to pay him millions when almost all these networks are retrenching all over the place? So I have no idea what's going to happen. And I agree with your statement that there's a good chance Sean McVay regrets not hitting the lottery when he could 1 year ago. But now the musical chairs have all been filled. Everybody has very recently paid their number one network analysts huge money. And unless Tom Brady says, hey, listen, I'm giving back this contract. Fox, let's just rip it up. And then maybe they'll say, okay, well, we'll take Sean McVay over Greg Olsen, even though I think Greg Olsen did a good job this year. I don't believe that. I think Sean McVay is going to coach the Rams again in 2023.
Peter, I agree with everything you're saying, and I broke it down yesterday at PFT. Where are the seats? Where is the money? It's not 2022 for Sean McVay. My point is this, though. To the extent he's thinking about it and doesn't know how it's going to shake out, he may be envisioning the possibility that this is his last game. He doesn't know that going into it, so it's just an extra little thing when you throw that with Mayfield and Wagner. I just think this is a dangerous spot for the Seahawks. And also, to the extent, and I know Pete Carroll has said he doesn't care that the Lions and Packers aren't being played at the same time, to the extent that griping may have made its way into the team, you may have some guys who are pissed off thinking, we're going to go win this game, and then the Lions aren't going to try to beat the Packers, so what's the point? All it takes is a little bit of that, and it throws you off kilter, and the Rams could win this game. I just think that possibility of McVay leaving is enough to get him to really – I mean, he wants to win anyway, but it's an extra little kick in the ass to try to finish the season with a victory. Lions and Packers, we mentioned that one. I have no concern.
Can I just say one last thing? Can I say one last thing
Sure.
about this game? I really am interested in what you said right at the top of this. Baker Mayfield's last chance to show Stan Kroenke, Kevin Demoff, Les Snead, Sean McVay, hey, listen, keep me around. I think Baker Mayfield is smart enough to know that there's probably a pretty good chance that nobody's paying him 5 years, $150 million, in this offseason. He understands that. I think the best place for Baker Mayfield, even if he backs up, is a 1-year deal with the Rams. If Sean McVay says to him 2 weeks after the season, Baker, I'm staying and I want you to come.
That's a great point. And look, Matthew Stafford has said he doesn't plan to retire, but he's injured a lot, and they may need to have a great backup. They haven't had one in recent years. Lions-Packers, to wrap up the regular season. I have no qualms about the Lions going out there and biting kneecaps just as if they would if they still were alive for the playoffs. This is the last game of the regular season. Who would have dreamed the Detroit Lions would qualify for the final game of the regular season? They are going to be driven. They are going to be motivated. And, Peter, I like the idea that they're going to know going into the game, we're either playing to get into the playoffs or we're playing to keep Aaron Rodgers out of the playoffs. We don't have to scoreboard watch. We don't have to wonder what's going on in Seattle. Our mandate is clear from the moment the game begins. We know what the Seahawks have done. Let's go either grab a playoff berth of our own or let's go deny Aaron Rodgers his latest opportunity at the postseason. I kind of like that kind of simple, linear clarity that the Lions are going to have.
Not only that, Mike, but I'll tell you the other thing I really do like. I really like Jared Goff trying to cap off what has been, I don't want to go overboard, but I would call it a wildly successful season when everybody thought that he was going to end this year on the outside looking in, and the Lions were going to use their 2 draft picks in the first round to pick the successor to Jared Goff. Look at how Goff has played, Mike. I mean, to me, I think he has rekindled his career in a gigantic way. 29 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions, 66% passing, a 100 quarterback rating. To me, this is the quarterback who the Rams drafted to be the long-term quarterback. And it isn't always beautiful. You know what? You always see Jared Goff when NFL Films has the beautiful tight spirals of Marino and Elway and all these great quarterbacks now. And then you look at so many of Goff's balls, and a lot of them have flutter in them. I laugh so often at that, but you know what? They may have flutter in them, but they go exactly where they're supposed to in 2022. Congratulations to Goff. Whatever happens on Sunday, whether they win, lose, or draw, I think it has been fantastic to see Goff, who's a great guy, rekindle his career.
And wouldn't it be something if the team that dropped him like a proverbial hot potato 2 years ago this month gets that win over the Seahawks, setting Goff up for a win and in playoff scenario? A nice little tentacle between the Rams and the Lions. Let's take a break. We mentioned earlier the 2 proposals for dealing with the AFC playoff seeding given the cancellation of the Bills-Bengals game. Are they separate? Are they tied together? How will the owners vote? We've got some more information for you that we've just obtained. We'll tell you what it is when PFT Live continues right after this. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.